back, everyone, to another Corona Geek, here where we talk all about mobile app development using Corona SDK. I'm your host, Charles McKeever, and I'm joined here in the virtual studio by Sylvain Gaucher, who is in charge of marketing and communication for Apptamin. Apptamin's an app marketing service that helps your apps stand out from the crowd using app marketing videos. So, hello, Sylvain. Also,
thanks, Charles. Thanks for having me here today. I appreciate it.
You bet, man. I'm excited about this topic. I think this is a great thing to talk about. I know, and I have my reasons, and we'll get to that in just a moment. And also we have Ed Marina. Ed's the owner of Roaming Gamer LLC, where he develops libraries, templates, and other products for use with Corona SDK. Hello, Ed. How you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Excellent. I'm doing
Thanks,
excellent.
too, for having me on.
Yeah, as always, you've become a regular of the show, and I appreciate it.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
You try. Yeah, it's
How do you get to that status then?
What's that?
How do you get to become a regular? I'm interested.
Just show up on a regular basis, really.
Got to show up and hang out. Sort of like a bum thing, but that's what I'm doing.
Exactly, yeah. Well, you know, the show is live every Monday, and then you know, it's publicly available, so anybody really can join. And we invite you know, regulars to the show just because they come on a regular basis, but anybody can join. So. Okay, so let's talk about what we've got going on here today. We've got a little bit of an agenda we need to cover, and let's start off with announcements. So, Corona Cloud is coming very soon, and if you haven't already, you need to check out the web API documentation that's on the Corona Labs website. So over in the Corona Docs area, there's a whole listing of everything that's going to be supported by Corona Cloud there. So that's going to have leaderboard support, multiplayer support, push notifications, chat support, cloud storage. So this is going to be a great thing, I think, for cross-platform support of you know, of multiplayer cloudness, and so it's going to be a standalone product as well as something that Corona SDK developers can use. So it's important to recognize that as well. It's not just going to be Corona, although a lot of the things that have been a lot of the philosophies of Corona, you know, we call it Coronafying it. A lot of the things that we try to do with Corona, making things simple, making things easy to use, are going to be built into the cloud. So that's going to be a great thing, and it's coming very soon. Also, right now, we're beta testing Build 2.0, which thank you to everyone who has stepped up and submitted their feedback for that already. There's been a lot of that happening over the weekend. And basically, this new build system is going to lead the way or pave the way for plugins. So some time ago, Walter talked about Project Gluon, which was this aspect of Corona SDK basically having plugins in it. And so Build 2.0 is a big portion of that, and so that's being beta tested right now. So that's good. Okay, events. There are coming up in this week. There are several events that coming up that you probably would want to know about. If you go out to coronalabs.com and check out the events calendar, there is one in Cary, North Carolina. That is a mobile app game developers meetup. So go check that out. Also in what is it here? In Madrid, Spain, is going to be a game development meetup centered around Corona SDK. So you'll want to check that out. That'll be on the 22nd. That's going to be Friday. And then in Dallas on the 23rd, Saturday, is going to be a Corona meetup, which I am going to put together, or I have already put together, and we're going to have pizza. We're going to talk about code. We're going to look at some of the green throttle controllers. We're going to look at code samples of game code. We're going to do an introduction to Corona SDK. Not necessarily all in that order, but it's going to be it's a great time. So I've already posted a link to that on social media, and I will put a link to that in the show notes as well. So come out on Saturday to the Corona SDK Dallas event, and I'd love to meet you there and talk about Corona SDK. Also, issue number 3 of Corona paper is still out for sale, and I think we're getting pretty close here to the end of the month. So that probably means that issue number 4 is coming up soon. I haven't seen all the details on it just yet, but oh, here we go. Let me tag this window. There we go. So if you haven't had a chance to go out and check out Corona Paper, you can do that at coronapaper.com. It's a great resource. There's lots of interesting articles in there. Corona Geek was featured in issue number, it's actually the 3rd issue. They labeled these weird. They said it's Corona Paper number 2, but that's for 2013. It's actually the 3rd issue of Corona Paper. So anyway, Corona Geek was in that one. David Rulin from Ambassador is in number 2, and then Walter, of course, is in number 1. So it's some interesting articles, lots of code examples, things like that. So go check that out. On the blog, if you haven't had a chance to, you'll want to go check out the widget tutorial. There's part 3 is out there right now. It's actually linked to part 2 and part 1, which you can catch up on if you haven't been able to see those. But basically, widgets 2.0 is out, which means there's a bunch of updates to the widgets. And so if you want to go, you can find that on the blog by going to blog, and then it's one of the posts there. I'll put a link in the show notes, as a matter of fact. But it's a good read. Lots of details have changed. Lots of things have been updated. Lots of good stuff there. So go check that out. So let's get into the Geek Speak portion of our program. This is really what we want to talk about most. And before we do that, let's say hello to Gerald. Hey Gerald, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. And hey Jesse, what's going on? Hey, how you doing?
Thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, thanks for joining us. So yeah, let's talk about Apptamin. So I kind of briefly introed Sylvan at the beginning of the show, but I really didn't tell exactly what he was going to be talking about. So Sylvan, if you would, tell us what Apptamin is and how does it help developers?
Okay, so what the service we provide are app marketing videos, app demo videos, or game trailers. Basically, the idea is to show in 15, 30, 40 seconds, 1 minute, what an app or what a game is about, and to get either people excited about it and want to learn more about it and download it, and also get a pretty good feel of how it's going to be the gameplay and how it's going to be using the app. So that's our service. That's how we live, and we also help developers. So that helps them in their app marketing, promotion, etc. And we also do our best to help developers on our blog, where we talk a lot about app marketing in general. So not only video, but also other aspects, from app store optimizations to getting an app reviewed, etc. And that's what we try to do to help developers.
Okay, yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, if you haven't had a chance to go check out Apptamin.com, check out the blog. They do have a lot of tips over there. I like what you guys do on giving out resources to the community. So I see that Booking.com is an example on the site. So are they one of your customers, or?
Yes, we actually did 3 different videos for them. One for the iPad app, iPhone, and Android apps. So it's a good reference. We're really happy to work with them, and they were really easy to work with, and really responsive to emails and that kind of stuff. So that was great. We also work with a few other people's 94 seconds. It's a game that came out pretty recently and actually went pretty up in the charts in the US too. I think they were #1 the day where Angry Birds went free, so they pretty much ended up #2 at one point. But they did a great job to market that, and actually work in the same time that we do. So it's even local. And our clients range from indie developers to big companies, and we also have mobile app development companies or marketing agencies and startups too.
Okay, that's great, awesome. What am I trying to say here? I think marketing using video is extremely important, but why should app developers care? I mean, what's the big value to them?
Well, how we see it is people are highly solicited. You hear about apps or games every day, and bloggers and journalists do too. But I think it's true for every users too. And you don't really have time to try all of this. Well, maybe you do, but not everyone has time, to try all of this. So our idea is that a game trailer or a demo video or promo video is going to be the best thing next to someone actually trying your app. So the idea is to do a video that's going to get them interested enough to go and download your app, and they're already going to kind of know your app, know what to expect, and we think it makes for more users and probably more loyal users too, because they know what they're going to get.
Yeah, you can only get so many things out of the screenshots. The screenshots really don't really give you a true sense of the interactivity of the app or the game or the features or whatever.
Yeah, I think you don't necessarily get a good action of the gameplay. Well, now you can put some text captions on your screenshots and try to explain it, but it's always going to be better to actually see it in action. And same thing for any app. The UI, special attention to details. You're not going to really see it with only screenshots, and a video is great for that too.
I tell you, you mentioned. I think you mentioned something about being picked up by the press and things like that. I know. For me, putting together like demo videos, like demo reels, like when we go to industry events and things like that, I like to put together a demo reel of apps and games and things like that have been developed using Corona. And if you don't have a video, I can't include you in that demo reel, So, and that's an important part of the visual eye candy at trade shows and things like that. So it's interesting that you say that, because I've experienced that firsthand, where there's been some apps that I like. Or some games that I like that I can't include in the demo reel because I just don't have a video.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think so too. So how does it help them market their apps apart from that? Is there anything that people aren't considering when they're?
I mean, besides obviously there's you can use your game trailer, your promo video on your website. So I mean your website I really believe too that every developer should have a landing page or a website or at least a page on his company website to talk about his games or his apps, and it's a way to express yourself, because what you get on the App Store is pretty limited, and it's a very defined format. And on your website, you can get a little creative, and you can put things as video, which you can do on Google Play Store too, but you can't really for the App Store. So I think it's a great place to start and convert more of your visitors into users. It's also good when you want to send it to people. And it's pretty good to have in YouTube. If you get to a certain amount of views, you're gonna help people find you. At least when they're looking for your app, you're not going to get a 5-minute boring review of your game or your app. You're going to get your promo video with your message, and people can see that. And maybe it will get them excited. And if you have a good call to action on your video, you can get that too. And there's really a lot of usage. You can use it on exhibition stands. You can use it for app or game contests, where sometimes it's required. Plenty of things.
You bring up an interesting point there. Is that you kind of can, when you create the video and put it out there, you can, to a certain degree, you can control the message. But when someone else does the game review for you, and you kind of depend on that as your video, then they may not be highlighting the things that you want them to, and it could be a 20-minute game video, which people may or may not watch.
Yeah, I think it's great that any games or app gets review online, because you need to unless they're bad, and in that case you don't want them, but except for listening to the feedback. But I think it's great to have. But like you said, yeah, it's a matter of kind of controlling that message too.
Yeah. So now, okay, along those lines, couldn't I just create my own video What's the difference between someone creating their own video and then having a video created for them?
Well, actually, you can, and you can. I mean, some developers do a pretty good job in doing their own trailers, their own app videos. Some do a really bad job too. So it's kind of it kind of depends. It's like marketing. Some people are going to have a great sense of what's going to work, and some not really. So you can try and follow. My advice will be, if you do it yourself, listen to people that do it. And there's some basic rules that you can follow, but you can do it. It also comes down to what do you want to spend your time on? Do you want to spend a day or two making your captures because you didn't know the tools you needed to use and how to do it, or this kind of things, or do you want to pay someone and work on your development and get new features out, new levels, a new app? It's all about either it's going to be your time or someone else's time that you hire. And if you're confident that you can do a great job and you have your own ideas and you want to do it, then obviously you can try it. But if you want to delegate that to someone, you can do it too. And I mean, we do only that, and we really try to tell the story of the app the best way possible. So it all comes down to time or money, really.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. I mean, even putting this show together, I mean, we've got software to record the show, and then later I'm going to chop it up, or not chop it up. I'm going to put the intro and the exit on the show, and I'm going to publish it to YouTube. And there's tools, there's time, there's what things need, what story needs to be told, all that kind of stuff like that. So yeah, I can see how that would be hugely intimidating to somebody. Maybe even to the point where they just decide they don't even want to do it, which I think most app developers probably fall into that camp where they think, well, I'll do it at some point in the future, and they just never get around to it.
Yeah, I think that's too bad. Honestly, I think it's better to have something than have nothing when it comes to video, because especially if you're looking to get your app reviewed. I mean, you see a lot of bloggers telling that it's important to send a video link, even if it's not a very professional one, high budget one. You need to have something. But if you do it, you might as well try to do it the best way possible, rather than postponing it and never doing it. At least try it and see how it goes. Right.
Yes. At least prove to yourself that it's more work than you want to take on. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's what people need is they need to be able to see how difficult something is, and then they decide that that's not what they want to spend their time on, like you say. And some people are really good at storytelling and really good at the technical bits. So to them, it would make sense that they would want to take it on and do them themselves. But yeah, I can tell you, editing video and things like that, once you kind of get into the mix of things, it's really not that hard. But getting into the mix of it and finding out which tools work and spending, I mean, there's a lot of hours spent. It's almost like the painter, that you come along and you ask them the price tag of their painting, and you go, oh, that's too much. How much did it cost to, I mean, how long did it take you to paint it? And they go, well, 20 years, because they had to learn where the brush is supposed to go and how the paint is supposed to be mixed. They didn't just whip it out. They might have whipped the painting out in 2 hours, but that's, 20 years worth of learning. So, well, what do developers, what can they do if they don't have the budget to have, like a professional put it together for them? I mean, are there things that you can recommend to them? How would they do that?
Okay, so yes, a couple of things I think you want to keep in mind. The first thing will be to keep it short. Keep your video short. So that's the first thing. The second thing is to keep it short. So it really has to be, not more than a minute. Really, even if you can make it, exciting and, convey your message in 30 seconds, 40 seconds, that's even better. And if you want to use your trailer on some ad networks or this kind of thing, it's going to have to be 30 seconds anyway. So it's really harder. It's almost like the shortest you want it to be, the hardest it is, because you have to make concessions and you cannot show everything. But you want to make it short, and you don't want to, show for the same reason, 2 minutes of one level, and if it's a game, and you have to keep it dynamic and exciting. So as much as you can, try to each time get people to see the next 10 seconds, because people's attention span is pretty short. So if you can grab them at the beginning for 10 seconds, most people are willing to give you those 10 seconds. And if in 10 seconds you can get them excited to see the next 10 seconds, and like this until the end of the video where you have a call to action, or you have it on your YouTube page or these kind of things, then you have someone interested that knows what your game or your app is about, and that knows where you can get it to. And I think that's pretty valuable. So my first advice is keeping it short. My second advice will be to plan it, to write a script, because if you want to keep it short, you cannot just start making captures and start showing gameplay and recording. You want to know what you're going to put in your intro, and then what you're going to, if it's a game, let's say what levels you're going to show, to best show the possibilities of your game. If it's an app, what features are really critical to critical to show. And so keep it short, write a script, and and what I was telling about the call to action, make sure that people don't end up watching your video and being like, that's awesome, I want this game, I want this app, but they have no way to download it whatsoever. And maybe you say the name somewhere in the voiceover text caption, but they have to go back and find it, and they cannot find it on the App Store. So make sure you make it really easy for them to be able to download the app. Tell them where it's available. Is it for iOS? Is it for the Google Play Store, Amazon, etc.? Where they're going to be able to find it. If you can put a link, even better. And that would be my 3 advices.
Okay, yeah, no, that's amazing. Yeah, 30 seconds is, I mean, it sounds like, how do you pack everything into 30 seconds? But television does it all the time. Commercials do it all the time. And so it's, knowing what to put in, though, is that's the talent. I mean, I'm assuming that is the value proposition for Apptamin, right? I mean, if we want to get down to it.
I mean, to be honest, we have a real hard time to keep it under to make videos under 40 seconds, because app developers, they want to show it's a baby, they want to show everything, and even if we tell them, they feel like they're getting more if it's longer, but really they don't. So it's kind of hard to try to keep it short and not show everything. But we always suggest things to do it, and sometimes it gets a little longer, and sometimes it doesn't. But I mean, there's different ways of doing it. What I see a lot, for example, for game trailers, etc., is kind of introduce the characters. There's usually a story behind the apps, and introduce that, and then show some levels and gameplay, etc. Then you can either hire someone to try and define that scenario for you, or you can brainstorm and think what's the best way to do it.
Okay, so as an app developer, if I come to you and I say, okay, let's start this thing, how does the planning process work? I mean, do you sit down and have a conversation with the person in order to figure out what the important parts are, or how does that usually go?
Well, what usually happens is we ask for a link to try the app, or a beta via test flight or something like that, so we can try it, play with it, and get a real feel about how it's working. And the idea next is to get some input from the developer and suggest him a scenario. Some developers have a pretty good idea of what they want. Some don't, but in all cases, the idea is to suggest them a scenario and to adjust it with their input. And once we agree on that scenario, and we can give them, a final price, and then we move forward and we write a very detailed script where we're going to show everything that's going to happen in the video. So what features we're going to see, what the text caption is going to be, or the voiceover, what interactions are going to happen with the app, all that. And once we have that validated, we can show them a first version of the video within 7 days. So we upload them a video on Vimeo as private. They watch it. They tell us if they have any minor modifications to do, and we change it until they're satisfied, and then we deliver the files. And in between, there are some parts where they have to pay us too, but I'm not gonna go into details.
Okay, so then so you start out by looking at the app first and trying to get an initial impression, and maybe making some notes of your own as to what story you would probably tell, and then you go back to them and find out what they think is important, and then you try to put it all together into some sort of plan.
That first scenario part, it's really when we try the app, and we usually try to get them on a call because it's easier, and we can they can tell us what's the most important. And that scenario part, the first phase I was talking about, is really just a few bullet points that allow us to get that story, and how, in which order and how we're going to do the video, and from that we can give them a price, and if they want to move forward, then we get to that very detailed script I was talking about. So it's really planned from that scenario part, and then we really detail it. To be sure we're on the same page with them before actually producing the video. If we can have affordable videos, it's because we really try to make sure we're on the same page before we start producing it.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Yeah, and an affordable video is relative, right? I mean, if it tells the story correctly and promotes the app and gets the result that you want, then it doesn't really matter what the price of it is. So
I'm not sure everyone agrees with you.
Well, I've had to learn that in a lot of different areas over the years, that there's something that's worth paying for when it gets the results. That it doesn't really matter what the price tag is as long as you get that result. And because, like you said before, your time is important. And not telling the right story can be a waste of everybody's time. So it's better to get it right and get it right and move forward. So, what video hosting platform do you recommend? I mean, you mentioned Vimeo a moment ago, and I want to hear what your thoughts are on that. I've got some questions based on your feedback.
Okay, so I don't think you have to choose one. You have to. They are there, and there are people and users. For YouTube, there are people and users from Vimeo, for Dailymotion, or whatever platform there is. So once you have your files, your video file, you can upload it and put your keywords and on different platforms, and maybe it will do 100 views on one and 10K, 100K views on the other one. But the idea is that it doesn't cost you much to upload it to 3-4 different platforms. Now, that said, we like Vimeo to work with our client for one simple reason, is that we can change the video file, which means that once we upload it, we do a modification, and then we can update the file, replace it, and they can still go to the same link. And that can be useful to app developers too, because they can change a video. They can start with a pretty simple one when they're still in the beginning, and then they can change it, and people are going to keep going to the same link. And if they put the link out there on the web, people will still get to that same video, except it will be updated with maybe new ones that on, a new update, new features, this kind of thing. So that's one of the reasons I like Vimeo. Now, YouTube is definitely something you can naturally ignore. So you want to have it on YouTube too, because some people start using YouTube as a search engine, and going to look for your game or your game trailer or your app in YouTube straight away. And if you put the right keywords, the right titles, and you get enough engagement and enough views on your videos, you can get pretty high up in the rankings of YouTube, and it's actually going to benefit you too in Google's ranking. And when you're starting to look for videos on Google, or even sometimes for apps, you're going to get that little thumbnail in the search results that give you the YouTube link. So that's why you cannot sleep on YouTube neither.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you about that, because it seemed like a lot of people like to use Vimeo, and I love Vimeo. I don't have a problem with Vimeo, but it's not YouTube. It's not out there. It's not that we call it that pedestrian traffic where people can come by and see what your wares, you know. So and it doesn't show up in the search engines like YouTube does, and all, you know, on and on and on. All those things you just said. But I hear what you're saying, that you can replace the video. That's huge. I wish I wish YouTube did that.
I wish you would too. Actually,
I mean,
I don't know why they don't do it. Maybe it's too much.
I don't know, unless they're just concerned about people gaming the system, you know, like trying to get something and then swapping
Yeah.
it out. I mean, there's
That will definitely happen.
yeah, exactly. But I know that, for example, again, going back to the demo reels, you know, I have a tool that downloads YouTube videos, and so when I would go and put together these demo reels, I would pull down the videos from YouTube, and of course it didn't work with Vimeo, so then I had to go out and find a whole separate tool that pulled the Vimeo videos, and it seems like, you know, so thank you. I was real curious as to why Vimeo was this why it was so popular with people. But it's good to hear that you're saying that people should use more than one platform.
Yeah, I mean, I think Vimeo got a pretty good reputation first because they allow you know, to embed in HD, I think, or actually, at least they do for, you know, premium users. And YouTube took a while to go to HD, so maybe that's one of the reasons.
Right. Well, you know, and it.
I'm not saying YouTube is not a platform that's working. That's not what I'm saying.
No. Well, what I was going to say was Vimeo. I don't think they've always been I don't remember. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember if they were always a paid platform, but now they're kind of a premium paid platform, and so I'm sure that cuts a lot of their noise that they get.
Yeah. And you're actually not supposed to put, you know, too many things commercial on Vimeo. It's not a platform that's made for, you know, anything.
Same thing with YouTube too, right? But, you know, people still do it.
Yeah. I do think that they control more of the content that's uploaded on their website.
Yeah. So do you help the developers kind of with that aspect of things, the SEO aspect of things? I mean, do you help them pick the keywords for their videos, or?
No, we haven't been to that. Really, right now we're trying to focus on the producing part,
right.
Production part. But there's ton of stuff we'd like to do in, you know, going further and helping the developers having that, you know, took a video with us to promote them in the best way. And, you know, the reason why I like talking, you know, these kind of interviews is that I can get to give a few of these tips of how you can use your video to, and you know, make it a great marketing asset, and that helps you with your promotion.
Okay.
But right now we don't have a service that goes that way.
Okay, no, that's good. That's fine. Yeah. It's you know, it's hard to do everything, and sometimes it's good to just focus on one particular thing. So, okay, so you mentioned earlier having a video can help an app developer get press, or maybe get on somebody's blog, you know, blog coverage and things like that. Can you tell us about some examples of that, or?
Yeah, I mean, you mean examples from people that have done it? Or?
Yeah. I mean, give me some examples of, you know, of people who've had success doing that, maybe getting some press coverage or stuff.
It's always hard when you don't know the actual developers to really know what came first. Is it the success that came and, you know, did those millions of views, or is it, you know, or did the video got shared and people really started to download the app? I think it's a little bit of both. I don't know. I kind of
should they send their videos to the press then? Should they send it to reporters and stuff like that? Use it in that way, or
yeah.
Or is it just, you know, like you put it out there and you're hoping somebody will pick it up?
They definitely should, because I mean, well, they get pitched all the time, and, you know, you hear about new games and new apps all the time, and I'm sure they would like to read your whole email and read your press release if they had time, but there's one point where you get so many emails and so many requests that you don't have time, so you start with the people that makes your life easy, and, you know, and if you see a good pitch email and there's a link to a video, and if you have Gmail and it's a link to a YouTube video, and you're going to see that YouTube thumbnail at the bottom of your email. They don't even have to go to YouTube. They can just click on it. What just 10 seconds I was talking about. If they want to know more than 10 seconds, and then maybe if you got them interested enough, they're going to download the app.
Do you ever?
So I think that.
I'm sorry. Do you ever do like a 10-second teaser?
We don't, but it would be really interesting to do it. I mean,
just just a flash of images,
exactly. With a subliminal, image in between that says download the app, and people just go ahead and download it. Yeah, we'd love to do that.
Well, I was thinking more for those like the press coverage, like you say, like sending that to somebody. But I guess if you have them there for that first 10 seconds, you might as well just go the other 20, huh?
Yeah, if you can get to watch that, that's great. That's a really great book that I really like. That's called Pitch Perfect. That's written by Erika Sadoun from the unofficial Apple weblog. I think that's the name of it, TUAW. And it's not really only about pitching. It's about making a great app or a great game that you're going to be able to pitch because it's great and because how to pitch it right. And she says that those videos, those 30-second, 45 seconds videos are really a great way for them to not throw your email in away.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear you. Yeah, it's interesting. I think people triage their email more than anything else these days. Just basically nope, boop, and then most people's emails don't even get opened. So it's crazy.
I'm not saying you should not do the other things and focusing on your email content and putting a press release. That's all great, but put a video link in there too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. So along with that, so what are the best places developers should put their videos then? So I think somewhere. Where did I see it? Maybe I read it on your website that you recommend that they put it in Google Play. So tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean that's the great thing about the Google Play Store is that you can put a YouTube link on it, and so it's already on YouTube because you put it there. So you might as well put that link on your Google Play App Store page, and it's pretty easy now. You can they localized it, so you can also, if you have videos in different languages, or you can put subtitles or whatever, and you can really put different videos even by country if you want. And so that's for me, that's a no-brainer. If you have an app on Google Play, you definitely should put a link to your video.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, cool. Awesome. Well, I like the way this thing goes. I mean, it sounds like it's really a no-brainer if somebody's looking for another way to promote their app and they want to do it in an interactive way and kind of get the message out extremely quickly. I mean, if the whole picture's worth 1,000 words, right? I mean, what's a video? Yeah. What's a video worth? I mean, it's a huge communication piece.
Yeah, we're waiting for Apple, to let developers put a video too, but I don't know when that's going to be happening.
Yeah, I don't know. That really should be. They need to. It needs to be a little more dynamic. We were talking about this on Facebook about whether or not how many pictures should you have for your screenshots. And I tend to follow the philosophy that I like to see as many screenshots as I can, right? And I certainly want those screenshots to tell me a story as to what features are there, and then hopefully answer my questions about what features that I'm most interested in. Like for example, if I'm gonna, like we were talking earlier, if I'm gonna have an app that exports to an Excel spreadsheet, I want to know that, right? I want to know it before I buy the app because that's a big feature for me. That's probably the one reason why I would buy that app. So the screenshot needs to reflect that in some way. So getting that in a video or having that communicated to me is hugely important. It makes the difference between me buying the app and not buying the app. Because
I think people are doing a better and better job of creating engaging screenshots, especially now in the App Store. That in the search results you see the first screenshot, and people are starting to put text captions and trying to make you understand, with that visual, what the app is about. So I think that's a pretty good start. But I also think that a video will definitely be able to show you more.
Yeah. It sounds a lot like copywriting, and copywriting. The headline and an image, all these things are meant to get you to read that first sentence, which is supposed to get you to read the second sentence, which is supposed to eventually lead to you reading the whole paragraph, and then before you know it, you've read so far into the thing that you're committed, and you're going to read the whole thing. But the headline and the image, they're really just there to get your attention and get you drawn into it, and hopefully consume the whole thing. Which, like you're saying, I mean, the screenshot that's its whole purpose. If it doesn't serve that purpose, then it's just you just uploaded a file for
yeah. Imagine an app store without screenshots. You'll be just getting unknown software piece, and
it would be terrible. It would be terrible. Yeah. So all right. Well, where can developers get more information, and where can they start a conversation with you?
Well, you're welcome to go to our website, apptamin.com, to see a little bit more about what we do. Please check out our blog too. We talk a lot about app marketing, not only video marketing, but app marketing in general, with hopefully some great tips. And please feel free to send us an email to contact@apptamin.com if you want to get in touch, or on a Twitter account at Apptamin. And we share a lot of good stuff about app marketing. In general, we share our stuff and we share other people's stuff. So we always try to have some things going on there. So you're welcome to interact with us and start the conversation.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Sylvan's definitely does a good job. Sylvan does a good job of maintaining the website. It's a beautiful website. I don't know if you haven't been out there. You definitely need to check it out. They've got lots of examples out there of their work, which really just it just shows the craftsmanship and everything that goes into it. And also, I know, Sylvan, thank you for you guys being such a player in the community. You guys are always supporting others and that sort of thing as well. So I think that's a good thing, because it's not just about the service that you provide, but it's also just about helping the developers get the most value out of what they're trying to do with their apps, and that's good. It's a great thing.
Yeah, thank you. Well, we try to help too, and there's people that buy videos, people that don't, and people that share our content, and that makes us happy too, because the idea is to get more great apps, up in the ranks, and also help indies and startups to get known, better.
Yeah. It's a whole rising tide floats all boats, right? I mean, as everybody does better, then the whole industry as a whole does better, right? So
yeah, I want good apps and I want good games, so we have to help people help us to know about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, let's move on here before we're coming up to the top of the hours here. So let's move on to some community news and talk a little bit about that and wrap things up. Ed, I want to talk to you for a moment about your template library that's out there for Corona SDK. You're on mute.
Yeah. I got it. Thanks.
Oh, great. I just want to point
that out. Keep it quiet. My tapping while you're talking. I don't want to interrupt with the keyboard noise.
Hey, so tell me, have you put any new templates out?
I have, as a matter of fact. I finished a slot machine template.
Okay. And
then another one is a little bit hard to describe, but you can think of it sort of like a cross between a memory game and Hogan's Alley, if you remember that from way back, the Wayback Machine.
Yeah.
So, yes, so 2 new templates out, and I'm going to be making some changes to the template store. I'm glad you asked, actually. I'm going to be running a sale later this week for the current templates.
Okay.
And then I'm going to start running some new templates which are much smaller, which are focused on what I call just mechanics.
Okay.
Like just how to move characters in a certain way, or just how to deal with certain camera styles, things like that.
I think that's a great idea, because we get a lot of questions about that kind of stuff. People are interested in. I keep saying this over and over again. I think that people get the SDK. I think when they look at the API and everything, they get how it works, and it's simple, right? But there are concepts that people have to grasp and learn how to implement, like parallax.
Right. There was Brent Sorrentino did a great article just a couple weeks ago now on parallax.
Yeah.
Which really made me think about this, because I see these same questions in the forums where people struggle with some basic mechanics concepts. I mean, they understand, like you said, they understand the API, but bringing it all together is sometimes a struggle for them.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right, because there are things. There's touch events, drag events, those types of things. Those are no-brainers. But there's simple things like, how do you get a character to jump on the screen?
Right.
That it doesn't have to
You've
be.
got a number of solutions. It's hard to choose sometimes.
Right. Exactly. So no, that's good. I'll be interested to see that for sure. I know that sometimes just getting those templates and tearing them apart just for that sheer fact of like, how do they accomplish this one thing, is what people are looking for. And so that would be good to kind of have that broken down where they can pick and choose which pieces they want.
Right. Some of the feedback that I got from people is they liked that they had a whole template, but extracting pieces is still work. And so I thought, well, why don't I just give you the pieces?
Right. Yeah. No, that's exactly it. What are people going to pay for, right? I mean, that's kind of the there's two parts there, right? You're helping educate people in the community, and two, you're selling templates. So
absolutely,
that makes sense. Makes sense to me.
So where do we get them?
You get them off of it's the one website I don't have ready to go here. roaminggamer.com.
Yeah.
And I will. We'll make sure there's a link in the video, but
yeah.
I'll send you one on the side here.
Yeah, I'll definitely put that in the show notes for sure. I think it's been in the past few shows, but I'll make sure that it's there for sure. Yeah, go check that out.
Thanks. Now I'm looking off camera.
That's all right.
You got me focused, and I'm looking away.
That's all right. Now it's all part of my plan. Yeah. So Gerald, you were at South by Southwest. So tell us, how did your gaming expo thing go?
Well, we had a great time. We had tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of people come by our booth. We got a lot of great leads from our booth there, and we're following up with them. Several are games, and of course we're looking at Corona to do those, and we're actually pricing some out right now for some clients. So yeah, it's all good stuff. It was great to see Walter. He stopped by our booth. Really was great to see him and talk to him and pick his brain on some things, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So that was good. It was good. It was a good show.
Now you guys were over in you were in the convention center, right? In the main hall or something?
Yeah. Right. We had our booth in the trade show exhibition area, and we were just swamped. And I guess from talking to Walter, it sounded like it was a better area for us to be in than the gaming one, actually. But then again, that was just the first day, so I don't know how it worked out the rest of the time there in the gaming section. But it was kind of neat. I mean, we had Shaq O'Neal and other people, celebrities coming by, so it was kind of neat.
Yeah, that is very cool. That's good. Yeah, we were over in the I don't even know I forgot what they call it now, but
Palmer?
The Palmer Expo Center or whatever. It was the gaming expo portion of it, and which was great. And there was, Green Throttle was over there. There was a lot of other vendors over there and stuff. But it was open to the public, and so we got to meet a lot of great people. I met educators who worked at the university. I met a guy from Verizon, who is like the director of IT over there at Verizon, and apparently they use Lua on their set-top boxes, which I thought was really cool. So we met a lot of interesting people, but it was our first year to go to the South by Southwest, so we kind of wanted to see what that was about. So it sounds like you had a good experience over at the main hall too.
Yeah, I wish I'd made it over to the gaming section. I just didn't have enough time.
Yeah, a lot of bandwidth there. We had, like you say, there were thousands of people that came by the booth. It's just incredible. And in the 3 days that we were there, I just about talked myself hoarse. And so, but we got to see.
I'm surprised you didn't get sick.
I thought about that too, because you shake hands with people and you're talking with people, and there's just just an influx of people. But no, it was good. It's good. I live a plant-strong life, so I got a good immune system.
Of course, all that alcohol, if you happen to have consumed any, would have helped as well.
Yeah,
but
right.
I know you probably didn't, but several other vendors I know there.
I don't understand how people have that kind of stamina. See, I'm a weenie. I don't have that kind of thing, man. I don't understand how people can stand there all day and do the booths and stuff like that, and then go out that night and party, and then come out the next morning and do it all over again. I just don't have that. I can't.
So yeah, it was obvious which ones did and which ones didn't
Right.
too.
Yeah, right.
One of the interesting things that came up out of it that we noticed is that there was a few of the booths there that did serve beer,
Mm.
and those ones ironically did get a lot more people by their booths. So we may very well be doing that next year.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We saw that at Apps World in San Francisco. There was a booth across the way from us that was handing out beer. Of course,
Yeah.
I mean, you don't really have to keep this in mind. You don't necessarily have to be the one giving out the beer. You just need to make sure that your booth is next to the one giving out the beer. 'Cause we,
That's true.
'cause we-
That's true.
Daryl, you can just a quick tip on that. That is an idea I've seen people use. You can go one step further and put your company label on a bottle of beer.
yeah. Yeah.
It costs a little bit more, but people will hold onto those bottles forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. We were actually talking about that for GDC because we're going to be going to GDC, and I said, well, hey, let's get some beer koozies for people, and then they could have like Corona Labs on a little beer koozie and carry it around the event, right? Because that's what we saw at Apps World was people carrying these beers around. And of course, somebody asked me, what's a koozie? I was like,
Yep.
What?
A decal.
I was like,
Yeah.
in Texas, that's actually like it's almost something you name your child after.
That's funny. That's so true. Well, there was one booth that actually was doing a kegerator giveaway, and their little thing that they would give away for people to come back to them was actually a beer cup, like a beer glass, like plastic one,
Yeah.
with their logo on it.
Oh, there you go. There you go. So a souvenir plus a reason to come back over and over again, right?
Right.
Like Pavlov's dogs. Well, they had live at the expo. They had this big, huge screen, and they did this live gameplay. And they had these YouTubers up there, and they were playing the game, and then they were also doing commentary and stuff. And then they were streaming that on the internet. So it was huge, and it was so much fun to watch. And people, there must have been several hundred people who would sit in the middle of this thing, and the stage was just like above your head. And then everybody had these little blown up tubes, and they would smash them around and do all this stuff, And so they chose up. They told them pick a team, So you had they divvied up sides, and so you had a team that you were rooting for, and they had a lot of crowd participation with that as well. So I don't know how I don't know how you scale that down to a 10 by 10 booth, but but
Well, next year we're
cool.
definitely going to go bigger too. We're going to get a much bigger booth next year.
Yeah. Well, you had to try these events on and figure out what they're going to do for you, and then figure out how much space do you want to have, right? And what you're going to do for that. So it's a big thing to plan all this kind of stuff. It's crazy.
Yep.
All right. Well, good. It's good. Glad you had a good time. I'm glad you had a good time. All right, well, let's go ahead and kind of wrap things up. I want to remind everybody that if they have topics that they want to suggest for the show, that they can do that by going to the forum, and in the forum is a Corona Geek section where they can leave their comments there. So far we've had lots of comments about just like this. We got Apptamin on the show today. We're talking about video promotion for apps. We've talked about in some of the previous shows. We've talked about app development workflow. That's been some topics people have brought up. There's also been App Store optimization was a topic that we brought up because Mo put a thread in the forum and said he wanted to talk about that for his Space Command game. So if you have a suggestion you want to know something more about, go out there and put it in. It could be monetization, conversion tracking, anything you want, really. I mean, if you have some question like we were talking earlier about templates, if you have some sort of mechanics question you want us to talk about on the show, bring it in and let us, tell us that you're interested in it, and we'll take it up and make a show about it. And also, before we check out of here, we've got to announce today's T-shirt winner. So today's Corona Labs T-shirt winner is Paulo Deshone. And we'll be sending him out a T-shirt. He heard about us on Twitter and follows us on YouTube. And he basically went over to coronageek.com/giveaway and filled out the registration form there, the giveaway form. Told us a little bit about themselves, and then here we go. So we're going to send out a T-shirt to Paulo, and thanks for that. I appreciate you watching us on YouTube and for following us on Twitter. And remember, you can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com, Facebook, Google+, YouTube channel. I mean, wherever you are, if it's /Corona Geek, we're there as well. So you can definitely follow us at any of those places. And don't forget, we are also on YouTube. So we take this live broadcast and we pull the audio off and we turn it into a podcast for you so you can listen to us on your drive time as well. So thanks for that. Thanks for everybody who supports the show. And Sylvan, thank you for being here with us all the way from you're Paris today, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm in Paris these days, yes.
Yeah, in Paris. So thanks for spending time with us. I know it's late there as well, so thanks for doing that. And yeah, and everybody be sure to go check out Apptamin.com and look at what they've got going on over there. They've got some great resources and a great service for app promotion using videos.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks everyone for being on with us today. Thanks for watching the show, and we'll be back here next week, and we'll be talking with Searchman SEO about a little more about App Store optimization. So look forward to that conversation as well, and we'll be back here same time, Monday, 12 p.m. PST. All right. Until then, have a great week and happy coding.